Well, Senate Republicans are becoming increasingly frustrated at Democrats for blocking the confirmation process of President Trump's appointments, and they are taking steps to address the backlog. A group of GOP lawmakers raised concerns about the lack of confirmation hearings last week, and they're now threatening to change Senate rules to limit the debate on a nominee to 8 hours. The current policy allows the Senate to debate a nominee for up to 30 hours, while Republicans say Democrats are using to delay appointments, but the left may not be the only side to blame for the obstructionist movement. One America's Neil McCabe has more from Washington.
President Donald Trump and his supporters are frustrated with the Senate's slow pace confirming his nominees for administration posts and judgeships, despite the chamber being controlled by the president's own party. James Woolner was a GOP Senate staffer for 10 years, and in his last post, he was the executive director of the Republican Steering Committee, the conservative voting bloc in the Senate, which is led by Utah Republican Senator Mike Lee. Woolner told One American News that while it is the job of Senate Democrats to oppose the president and his nominees, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is the real culprit.
They couldn't be slowing things down to the extent they are without the cooperation of the Senate Republicans. And in many cases, Senate Republicans are acting themselves to delay the president's nominees.
During the Obama administration, Senate Democrats changed the rules that allowed senators to filibuster all nominees except for nominees for the Supreme Court. Now the only delay is the rule that allows 30 hours of debate before a vote, which, if taken for every nominee, would exceed the time left in the president's first term.
Under the rules, you can debate up to 30 hours under post-cloture time. But the rules are clear. It doesn't require that 30 hours elapse before a final vote.
Woolner, now a senior fellow at the Washington-based R Street Institute, said there are only two things to do on the Senate floor.
And if no one wants to speak, then the presiding officer can put the question, can call for a vote.
Woolner said Senate Republicans insist on quorum calls to eat up hours of floor time instead of voting on Trump's nominees. The clerk then calls the name of the first senator alphabetically, Tennessee Republican Senator Lamar Alexander, and then stops for what seems an eternity.
I yield the floor to give that quorum. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Alexander.
All of your viewers will turn on C-SPAN and see typically nothing happening. It's like watching paint dry, and it'll say quorum call, but nobody's doing anything. There's nobody coming to the floor, and that's a way that the leaders use to manage the floor.
Woolner said Leader McConnell blames the confirmation backup for his inability to move legislation, but really McConnell is using the backup to get leverage with the White House, all the while blaming Senate Democrats for his delaying tactics. It is typical of a Senate that is broken under McConnell, he said.
Thank you, Mr. President. I suggest the absence of a quorum. The clerk will call the roll.
Neil W. McCabe, One American News, Washington.